And we are live, guys. So in this video, I'm going to give you the news. I'm going to help you to look at the news from a positive perspective in real time. News are by default always or most of the time going to be negative. And the reason why is because that's what most humans are attracted to, because that's what most humans are, right? You attract like. And so if you're a negative person, you're going to want to attract more negativity so you can be miserable together with it. And it's going to amplify your belief around, in terms of the world. But if you're a positive person, you're going to attract more and more positivity in your life because you refuse to accept the negative outcomes. You refuse to accept the status quo because that's not how you want to live your life. Everything comes back to being disciplined or becoming your full potential. Your full potential is not to stay in negativity. It's to overcome negativity and begin to look at life and at yourself and at other people in a positive setting, in a positive light that you've created yourself. It's a skill. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. So let's first start with frameworks. I've got very simple frameworks for my life that helps me to get a proper overview, okay, a bird's eye, if you will, of my current situation in any situation that I find myself in, okay? We're all going through problems and difficulties and issues and things that need to be solved. Absolutely. Like, that's a good thing. Why is that a good thing? Watch the video and you'll understand. So the three categories of life is health, wealth, and relationships. We're going to start with health. We're going to move towards wealth, and then in the end, we're going to truly understand what relationships are all about and how to go about putting all of those in a positive light. But understand that we're beginning with the end in mind, okay? And the end in mind is fantastic relationships. That's what produces joy, bliss, and happiness for us as humans. We're social creatures. We want to feel important. And the only way that we become important is that other people make us feel important. Life is about you liking yourself. But you can only truly like yourself if other people like you. You need other people. No man is an island. And so if you are feeling a little bit depressed, a little bit overwhelmed, and in some way, shape, or form, you're struggling with understanding the why of life and why you should keep going and why effort is actually a great thing, then this video is for you. Health. Let's start there. There's three aspects of health. Keep it very simple. This is basic stuff. And that's what this channel is about, giving you the basics of life that school didn't give you. Health is three categories: sleep, good diet, and exercise. That's it. If you improved on those three things, then your health would eventually become optimal. But you got to understand those three categories of life. And maybe that's not something that you're enthused about or excited about, but you got to have some basics down for maintenance so that in the future, people that are fired up and excited about those three want to help you. Right now, you're not maybe capable of paying someone for their expertise to help you one-on-one. But maybe you can afford watching free videos on YouTube and learning the basics so that you can maintain good health until you have money to then be able to invest in relationships that cause you to improve every aspect of life. That could be through one-on-one coaching. That could be through group coaching where you're learning from a community of people, or it could simply be from free information online to begin with. So you have a resource. Very often we don't think about the fact that we actually are starting with resources. Like, think about it. Oh, I don't have any money. I can't. You want to remove the word can't from your vocabulary if you can at all do that. Because That's difficult, but that is the next step towards getting to where you want to go. When you say I can't, you're putting limitations on yourself. You're literally imprisoning yourself and closing the door and throwing the key away to somewhere else. But instead, I want you to retrieve that key. Okay, I'll give it back to you. Here you go. Now you can unlock the prison door and get out of it by simply believing that you can. And I'll show you how in this video. So, in the beginning, when you are struggling, when you are depressed, when you don't have a why for continuing, what you need is a lot of sleep. You want to sleep as much as possible because your brain is not functioning properly. And your brain needs to function properly in order for you to be able to have rational thinking. If you're overwhelmed and depressed, that's an emotional state. And you want to decrease emotional state in order for you to increase rational states. And both of them are very crucially important. But if you are too far when it comes to the equilibrium, when you're too far into the emotional state and you're unable to think clearly, then we got to do things that help you to build a stronger equilibrium. And your brain, in your age, which, my target avatar, the people that I'm trying to talk to are men aged between 18 and 35, right? To teach them the things that school didn't teach them. During that time frame, your body can and should heal itself. The only thing you need, okay, because that's what health is this you healing faster than you deteriorate. And if you're sleeping, you're probably not going to do bad things to your body. There's only positive things happening to your body while you sleep. And the cool part about it is that nature has been built in such a way that we can't sleep indefinitely because you got to go to the bathroom eventually, right? So that's what's really cool. And that's a positive way to look at things. So when it comes to then your sleep, you want to make sure in the beginning of your recovery process, if you will, to sleep 8 hours a night at least, minimum. That's maintenance, okay? You deplete yourself and your energy and your mindset, your rationale and logical thinking. You deplete that when you sleep less than 8 hours a night. And if you stay awake during the night and you don't get your full 8 hours, whenever it is that you're sleeping, the best thing to solve this equation is to have a very specific time that you go to sleep and a very specific time that you wake up in the morning. Temporarily, maybe you might need 9 hours of sleep or 10 hours or maybe 12 hours of sleep. Just make sure that you have the exact same schedule every single day when it comes to your sleep. Because then the more you sleep during a difficult time frame, the more productive you're going to be during your awake hours. And that's what we need. We need productivity and rational thinking so that we can create a sequence for ourselves of actions that will take us to a better future. So, sleep is extremely important. And if you haven't discovered that, you will as you begin to apply the principles that I teach here. Okay, so next in line is exercise. If you just simply start exercising, like maybe in the beginning it's just walking. Just walk an hour a day. Okay? So you sleep for 12 hours and then you walk in nature for an hour a day. In nature. Not at the gym where you get depressed because you look at everyone else who has a much better body than you, right? Walk in nature. And then say hi to people that walk past you in nature. You do that for 1 hour a day, your thinking will begin to change, especially if you're listening to me while you're walking. Okay? That's going to help you tons. It's what you do during awake hours that are crucial to you not feeling stagnant. So you might feel depressed right now and sleep doesn't seem like it's working. Try to have a scheduled sleep schedule where you know exactly what time you go to sleep and exactly what time you wake up, because that's the key. It's consistency there. The next thing then is to walk every single day unless you're ready and able to do more intense exercises. But intense exercises that allows you to then move to the next step, which is diet. Because if you're exercising a lot, you need the nutrition that's necessary for you to uphold the exercise regimen that you've got going on. If you're simply walking an hour a day, then that's not going to be so intense that it just, ruins your entire flow. We're setting up a foundation now where you can learn to take care of yourself so that you can take care of other people. Because that is one of the reasons why we take care of ourselves, is so that we have capacity to serve others. When we serve other people, then they begin to like us. If they like us, we begin to like ourselves. That's the reason why we're depressed, is because no one cares. No one likes us. But where that originated was ourselves not caring about other people, not serving other people, not wanting to do squat for other people, because we've been screwed over so many times in our lives, and people have made our lives miserable, so we don't want to make other people's lives happy. But this is what fuels a continual depressionary spiral, if you will, of everyone thinking that they're only about themselves. Right? So this is the next step, is taking care of yourself in order for you to take care of other people, so that they in turn can take care of you better, so that you in turn can take care of them better, right? No man is an island. This is how it all functions. This is the life philosophy that's helped me to be positive throughout all of the crap that I've gone through in my life, all of the failures, all of the issues that I've gone through, and been able to do that with a smile on my face, right? So it leads us to the next point, which is money. Oh my gosh. This is a tough one. I don't want to talk about money, and that's a problem, right? If you don't want to talk about money, then you'll never solve the money problem. So in this video, I'm sharing the whole shebang. I'm helping you to see every single step as a necessary building block to building a fantastic life. And having money and having a good relationship with money is part of that process. You can't help yourself without money. You can't help other people without money. But you might not have a lot of it right now. And that's okay, as long as you are excited and willing to serve other people, right? It all starts with a desire. So if you're unemployed and depressed and don't have any money, this is a great start. And we can build on that, because what do you have a massive resource of that other people do not? Time. Time is the scarcest resource on the planet. And when you're unemployed, guess what? You have lots of it. And with lots of time, you can do lots of good. And if you do good, then good things will happen. And what does good mean? It means that you go out there and serve other people. Like I was just mentioning that you should, it might be wise to walk an hour a day listening to positive material like the ONTRACC channel. And then whenever you see someone on that road or on the path or wherever it is that you are in nature, then you want to make sure that you serve the people you pass. And what does that mean? How does that even look like? You smile and maybe greet them. You say hi. You say, how are you doing? Nice to see you. And then you just pass them. You don't even have to do much for them. You just are friendly, okay? That is a service that you're giving to someone else. Very basics, right? But when you smile, then the world smiles to you. When you say hi, the world says hi to you, no matter how depressed the other person is. Because that's just what you do. It's common courtesy. Now, if you're extremely depressed and you haven't seen this video, then you're going to be like, yeah, like, why is he saying hi to me? I don't even know him, blah, blah, blah. You can look at that situation as a negative person, or you can look at it as, wow, that person cared enough about me to say hi. Am I perfect at this? No, of course not. I'm talking to myself as well. Like, I was in the elevator the other day, and there was, like a 13-year-old or whatever that came into the elevator together with me, and, we just went downstairs, and, I was going to go and play basketball or whatever. And because I don't speak the language in this country, and I can't really, expand on a conversation, I was just like, I don't want to say anything, But I felt horrible afterwards. Like, obviously, I got over it really quickly, but I like, I wanted to make him feel important. And this is how you make other people like you, is by making them feel important. Just a simple greeting. How are you? And I know how to say that in Georgian language, right? That would have made his day. And he would, next time, every single time he would have seen me after that, it would have been a compounding effect of, I want to get to know that person. He said hi to me in the elevator, blah, 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 blah. And then it moves on and then creates a chain reaction of him telling his parents that I met this nice guy who's our neighbor, blah, 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 who smiled at me and said hi to me in the elevator. And they'll probably say, well, don't talk to strangers, yada, yada. But that might actually be a positive thing that eventually leads somewhere. You never know, in a positive direction that is a win-win for both families, right? I got kids. Maybe those kids become friends. Who knows? This is how you serve other people. You have lots of time, right? And so you can use this channel and use pen and paper to start writing down in what ways you can serve other people. And this is the next step, is you need money, right? So you want to create a situation now where you can create the win-win situation with people that have money. People want to spend their money, right? We are, like, just like you, everyone wants to spend money, including rich people, as long as they can exchange it for something that means more to them than the money. Now, if money is the only thing people care about, you don't want to be around those people. You want to be around those people that have lots of money, but that care more about people. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to want to get rid of their money to get value, products and services that help them to serve better, that help them to serve more people, that help them to do nice things for their inner circle, their family, or their friends, or for their customers, right? So from that perspective, you're now moving towards getting to know people who care more about people than money, and you're creating a win-win situation with them because they have money and you've got time. And so the only thing that you're missing then is skills. So from a news perspective, what's going on in the world right now? A lot of people are poor. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of people are also living on government benefits. The first thing you want to do is to get yourself, after you get a job, off of government benefits. You want to get to the point where you never, ever accept ongoing benefits from anyone. I'm talking to men, age 18 to 35, who are healthy and capable. You should not be in a situation where you need someone else's assistance long term when you have the capacity and capability to work. Because if you are not working, you are sucking value from the system. Okay, now you might say that the system is rigged, blah, 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 whatever. But we're talking about you right now. We're talking about what will create a long-term benefit for your soul. And that is to serve other people and to get value in return for that so that you can feel good about your day's work. And that's how it starts, is you being able to create a win-win situation with someone that has money, but they do not have time or skills that you might have. And the negative news might be, okay, this is what's going on in the world. There's a lack of jobs, potentially, and we're heading into that direction. AI is going to replace me, and it's going to replace my current job or my current skill set or whatever it is, okay? We also have the potential of the financial system not functioning very well much longer, and it's like, and even if you were to make money, you got the inflationary scare of, like, the more money you make, it doesn't matter because hyperinflation or inflation by, is going to make the money that I make 10% or 20% or 50% or 100% less valued than what it is when I'm working for it. So it's like, what's the point of saving money, right? These are all the negative stuff that's happening into people's minds. It's like, the system is rigged, so if I start working, it's not going to work anyway because the rich, they're taking all the money. Like, again, the depressionary spiral people find themselves in. And everything's becoming more expensive. Rent, I can't afford this, and I can't afford for food, and the healthy food that I want to eat is becoming more expensive. And like, there's so many negative things happening from a money situation perspective. But let me help you to see this from a positive perspective and a positive angle. First of all, develop a good relationship with money. Money is a fantastic thing. And the reason why it's a fantastic thing is because it makes our lives so much easier. If we didn't have a medium of exchange and a medium that allowed us to store our value, store our energy that we've accumulated over time, then life would suck. Okay? It would suck infinitely more. And that's what was going on for thousands of years. It was basically a barter economy that was difficult. Like, you had to transport items, and then you had to find someone who was willing to exchange the thing that they had for the thing that you had, which might not have been a lot back then. And so like, exchanging stuff was hard, was difficult. Now we've created money. Money is awesome. Okay. And the best form of money is gold and silver. And Bitcoin might come in there, to swoop things in there as a positive way of transferring gold digitally, right? Those are amazing forms of money. And then you've got a problematic system that was put upon us called the fiat currency system, or IOUs, where it's basically just a debt-based system that in the future I promise that I will pay for this, but give me money up front now. And then people just print that money out of thin air and become rich by simply not even putting any effort out there at all, whatsoever. Right? This is the sucky part of the rigged system, so to speak. But money is fantastic in the sense of creating value for yourself and the people that you care about is fantastic. And you want to accumulate lots of it. I'm trying to help you to understand the positive aspects of accumulating money, but also of spending money, because it's neutral, okay? If bad people have lots of money, then bad things happen in an amplified way in the world. If good people have money, then good things happen in an amplified way in the world. So money is just an amplifier of energy. You send out good energy, fantastic. You can amplify that with money. You have negative energy, you can amplify that with money. And so we don't want to have bad people having lots and lots of money, because then more and more bad things are going to happen. If we have a lot of good people that have lots and lots of money, then good things are going to happen. And it's not like you need to accumulate it and store it somewhere where you can't use it. And you don't want to use it. That would be a negative for society. That would mean that you're not good. Very interesting to think about. If you were to accumulate and store gold and Bitcoin or silver or whatever, even with good monetary, okay? Like what and you do not spend that money into the economy. Like, you don't invest in people, you don't invest in property, you don't invest in anything, and you just want to fearfully keep that cash to yourself, you're a bad person. Okay? If it's huge sums of money. Now, obviously, you're not a bad person if you've got, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years of reserves. Okay? But when you become rich beyond that, and you're not investing those hard assets into other people to make your life better and the people around you better, because the thing is that you're hoarding that wealth, which means that you're only making your life better. Again, selfish, right? Other than, you're helping other people that have that gold to become richer as well, so to speak. But if you're not thinking about the poor and the needy who don't have gold, silver, and Bitcoin, then in what ways are you improving the world situation? You're not. Okay? So let's just understand that from a simple perspective. It's your duty and responsibility as a man to understand how to exchange time and skill for money. That's the first step. Once you've understood a system where you can do that effectively, and you start accumulating some, because that's what you got to do, is you got to make sure that you take some of the money that you make and set it aside into gold, silver, Bitcoin. And then the rest you can spend in order for you to make your life better, but also to put money in the hands of other people that you care about. Okay, that could be stores, that could be products and services that you want to pay for that produces more value for you in return. And that puts money in their pockets to good organizations because you vote with your money in order for them to be lifted and to see themselves having a brighter future as well because they're bringing value to the world, including you. You see, like all of the all of the horrible stuff that might happen in the rig system, there's still exchanges of monetary value happening where you are easily being able to transact with other human beings to receive more of the stuff that you want in exchange for stuff that you don't really care about, which might be money, right? But you need more money in order for you to exchange for goods and services that you do want. And it's your duty and responsibility to produce that money. And currently, right now, that's fiat currencies in dollars or whatever your native currency is. But over time, it's going to become gold, silver, Bitcoin. And so, because all fiat currencies are going to go to zero because trust is exponentially decreasing. And then you can only have the thing that's physical or that you can trust. Bitcoin is not physical, but you can trust it so far, right? We don't know what the future holds for that. But with gold and silver, we kind of have a dependable future based on past experience. It's been 5,000 years plus that gold and silver has been in operation in the economy, right? So as a result, it's likely that the next 5,000 years, if we make it that long, gold and silver is going to be an important aspect of life as well. So if you are accumulating fiat currencies and you can exchange fake money, fiat currencies, into real money, gold, silver, Bitcoin, then that's a positive thing. And you should do everything in your power to work every single day to gather that fiat currency while serving other people. And this is the cool part about the rigged system that we're in, which is not necessarily rigged. You just feel that it's rigged against you because other people have more than me. Just because other people have more than you doesn't mean that you can't have some. It just means that they're more skilled at getting the thing that you are unskilled at getting. That's all it means, that they have more than you. And you should be grateful for their example, for showing you what's possible that you could potentially do, because they're not that much smarter. They're not that much better than you, right? And like, you can make 10K a month, right? You can make 20K a month. And you can make way more than that over the next, few years of massive effort. You can. Maybe you can't become a billionaire, but do you do you have to be? Like, so if you understand this point, it's like you have a duty and responsibility to get out there and serve people. And even if there was no monetary value for you to gain other than serving other people and getting food and lodging, okay? You get a place to stay, you get food, and you're doing a service for someone who's a good person and has a good vision. And we're building something together here. And you're going to benefit from doing that thing if you keep going with that person. Then, like, even if there's no immediate money, it's just covering your basic needs and serving other people. That in and of itself is sufficient in the short term. Long term, you obviously want to create win-win situations that can help you to change the world for the better and make you accumulate lots and lots of wealth. But in the beginning, you got to start from scratch. You got to start from somewhere. And that might mean working for free in order for you to gain skills. But there are so many things that you could do with your skill set and with your time that is basics, that is easy to do. Even being a cashier, whatever it is, or serving coffee, or cleaning something, there's tons of jobs that other people are not willing to do, which you might be willing to do, which will give you monetary value so that you can start buying real money with fake money. And then with the remainder of the money, you then go and spend for your basic needs. Once you understand this picture, you become excited about making money. And if you're excited about making money, Now you have solved a very important equation. You now are excited in the present about the future. And the past trials and difficulties and issues begin to fade away. It becomes learning lessons that you are grateful for because it brought you to a situation where you're now producing value to other people and you are also feeling better as a result about yourself. You can be massively poor and like yourself as long as you do lots and lots of service to other people in brightening their day and offloading their burdens and improving their life. Because you, as a result, will improve your life if you're doing it to the right people who want to give you win-win situations. And guess what? The vast majority of the human population has been raised in such a way that they want to produce win-win situations. Vast majority of people on the planet are good people. It's just that we see a lot more bad people, so to speak, because we got social media, and there's a lot of rich people that are bad or that I don't care about the rest of the people, and so they just doing their thing and gaining fake money, and maybe buying gold, silver, Bitcoin with it, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're not even rich. They just look rich because that's what people do on social media. So this is how it works with wealth. And if you want to, you could learn to build a business, no matter who you are. Because building a business is simply doing what you did earlier, which was exchange value to someone that has money, and you've got the thing that they want, and then you make the exchange. And having a business simply means that you developed a system around it that duplicated you. Okay? Whether you solved an equation with software or whether you solved it with other people, that's what business is. And if you could solve that equation, you now have a business that can outlive you and outlast you and continuously grow without your presence if you build it up the right way. And that might take you 10 years, but it doesn't matter if it takes you 10 years, because 10 years into the future, if it's an exciting future, you can be excited about it right now. So no matter what's happening in the world economy, and this is the last point that I want to talk about in terms of wealth. If you build a business, you will be an entrepreneur, which is the fastest way to change you and becoming a better person, and becoming a better you. Because it allows you to change lots of people's lives all at the same time because you built a system around the thing that someone else values more than their money. And that's it. That's the solution. And you're creating a better future for yourself by simply learning to save in ounces, gold and silver, or satoshis, which is Bitcoin. That's what you're doing. And that is a vision that you can keep going with for many, many, many years. And know that everything's going to improve and get better as a result because you're a good person that's going to take these valuables and make the world even better. So I'm excited for you about this one. And I can help you with this one. Okay. And then lastly, relationships. I want you to understand that it's all about relationships. And there's 3 categories inside there. You got family, which is usually, parents and siblings. You've got your inner circle, which are friends. And maybe in the beginning, you're not going to have lots. Okay. Maybe you don't have lots. Fantastic. That's a great place to start because that means that you can create a new base, a new building block for yourself that makes it so that you are choosing friends selectively. And maybe in the beginning, it's just work friends. Maybe in the beginning, it's business friends. Maybe it's the on-track community. But you're developing friends that can stick around for life because they're progressing and moving forward. If you choose friends that are going in the opposite direction of where you want to go, which is towards depression and misery and isolation, If you don't want to be, and guess what? Those people want social. And so if they're miserable, they're going to try and make you miserable so that you guys can be miserable together. But the way to turn that around is to simply stand up for yourself, because if you don't stand up for something, you're going to fall for everything, and including being part of the web of pity and misery and destruction that comes from choosing the wrong friends. And so if you're choosing the right friends, which is one of the most important things that you can do in life, you got to choose great friends. Friends you up, and they're the exception to the rule because they're exceptional. And if you choose correctly from that perspective, that's going to improve your life exponentially because those people are going in exponential directions, right? But in a positive way, because they've tapped into personal development, they've tapped into people skills, they've tapped into coaching, they've tapped into business. And so things are naturally going to improve for them. And they can improve for you too if you're around those people. That's the cool part. This is amazing stuff. Okay. And then in terms of your family, you might want, like, if they're extremely negative, they just need an example. And so temporarily, you might want to spend less time with your family, increase the time that you spend with positive people, unless you have positive family members. And if you do, make things happen with them, right? Like from a, let's do something, let's build a business, let's, create, blah, blah, blah. But if you've got very negative family members, you spend less time with them, you still spend time with them because you need to be an example for them. If they're absolutely toxic, completely and utterly toxic, and they might be toxic because you've been toxic, right? There is a possibility of that there. But if they are absolutely horribly toxic, then maybe for a period of time you need to put them aside temporarily, become an example, then come in there and have the ability to stand up for yourself in that situation in a negative in a positive way that brings them closer to the truth because you're closer to the truth. And lastly, and this is an important one, and this is where all of society's troubles originate, by the way, is the romantic relationships of the world. We're in a very difficult dating market. I got married 16 years ago. It wasn't as bad back then. Today is absolutely horrible, you know? And so I understand what you helped me to solve so many equations simply from the belief that there is an equation to be solved. And there is an equation to be solved when it comes to this. So let's go through the math. Okay. In your situation right now, okay, you are a certain age. I just took this specific age. Worldwide, there's 4 billion women, right? Not everyone qualifies to be a romantic partner of yours, right? But if we narrow it down to women aged 20 to 29, just giving you an example, okay? You can talk about the numbers you want to talk about. But there's 300 million women aged 20 to 25. In addition to 300 million women aged 25 to 29. So there's 600 million women worldwide in a kind of suitable age range. Now, let's say that we'll only take 1% of half of that, okay? So 0.5%. That will amount to 3 million women worldwide that are absolutely fantastic. Okay? They're gorgeous, okay? Beautiful, amazing, pretty. You could look at them and stare at them all day and you'd be enjoying doing that, right? And then, and obviously you're not going to do that because you're out serving other people. But when you do see her face, wow, it's amazing. Okay? That's a positive thing. That's enjoyable feminine energy. She's maybe she cooks, maybe she takes care of the home, maybe she's excited about becoming a mother to your children, right? Can we just say that 1% of all women during that age range worldwide fit you if you chose them? Okay? Just 1%. 1 out of 100. that's a pretty high probability that there is a woman out there, 1% of the global female population between the age of 20 to 29 that could potentially fit you, that has the values that you want her to have, or who is flexible enough to listen to you when you guys are during the dating process to the point where she completely understands and completely is on board and completely is excited about the life that you guys can produce together. Just 1% of them. Okay. So that's 3 to 6 million, but let's say it's 3 million. And we divide that up with the amount of countries. You live in one of those countries for sure. Okay. But there's less than 200 countries on the planet. So out of that, that means that there's 15,000 women in your specific country that fits the bill perfectly. It's not all lost. It's just that you haven't been looking and you've been feeling bad about yourself. And as a result of feeling bad about yourself, no woman want to be around that vibe and energy, right? So they don't even give you the time of day or don't even look in your direction. The part is that you got to change your mindset about you, and the moment that you change your mindset about you, everything changes. Like it's like nothing else changed except you changed. This is the power of mindset. This is the power of you becoming the person you were meant to be, because it changes everything. Everything changes for you, not for the whole world, but maybe it will. Maybe you have that catalyst and the example that causes tons of people around you to change as a result of you being the example for change. So let's take those 15,000 for your specific country. Does it mean you have to be in your specific country to find the woman that you're looking for? There's 200 other countries, 196, whatever it is, where you could travel to for pretty cheap, because it still is cheap to travel these days. If you have a job and if you accumulate some money, you can do some travels. You can find a woman somewhere in one of those countries. And guess what? Half of the global population live in the cities. Now, does it mean that you want a city woman? Maybe not. So if you're traveling to the outskirts, fantastic. Then you're doubling the amount of women that you could potentially meet. But if you are targeting just the city, that's half of the population, which means that out of the 15,000, 7,500 women, let's say 10K or 5K, it doesn't matter. You're saying that there's 5,000 women minimum in my specific city that would love to get to know me if I changed my mindset. And if I began to move towards the right direction when it comes to health and money. Not because of the health and not because of the money, but because of who I become in the process. Because of the power that I begin to build in my life. Yes, there's tons of good women out there. If we eliminate 99% of women from the equation in your specific age range. You just have to open your mind to it. The cool part about this is that it's the exact same thing when it comes to jobs. So if you are unemployed, it's a numbers game that you just haven't gone through yet. And you haven't invited enough people to go on dates with you, both romantically or, from a money perspective. Now, I want to give you a caveat at the end here when it comes to the romantic aspect. You will have what you want from a family perspective in the future, as long as you follow the plan that I've outlined. But I highly recommend that you don't start the dating process right now, because then you'll end up finding a woman that is subpar your potential and where you're headed. Because you're finding a woman that's like-minded, that's kind of in the same range as you right now from a personal development perspective. So if you rather focus on building yourself up with the vision that you will have that in the future, and you massively take action right now in setting up the foundation of your life, both from a health perspective and from a money perspective, relationships will take care of itself if you apply the correct strategies. Okay? So all of the negative, horrible stuff that's happening in the world, all of the horrible, negative stuff that's happening in the economy, and that's kind of affected you a little bit or a lot, and all of the dating situation crap that's happening as well, and and people are sliding whatever, swiping on Tinder. Bro, stop all that crap. Stop going to the news. Stop watching negative stuff on YouTube. Don't attract what you are. Begin to be attracted to people that have what you want, which is the most important thing, a positive outlook on life. And as you begin to develop a positive outlook on life, during depressionary times, you could be fired up. And you'll be the minority that is fired up during a depressionary time. And if you're fired up during a depressionary time, not because people are depressed, but just because you've developed this massive shield and armor around you of capacity, of power, of focusing on the task at hand and just completing that and making tons of people's lives easier and better and unburdening women and children, you're going to feel fantastic about yourself during a depression. And if you feel fantastic about yourself during a depression, guess what? You are happy. And if you're happy, then that makes you a leader, which makes you feel important, which makes you now have a fantastic life, even during a depression. During the Great Depression, during the World War I, World War II, you don't think people managed to be happy and have a positive outlook? Of course they did. Okay? Even if there was struggle with food or whatever it was, there were people, although they were the minority, who were excited about the future and excited about life and solving problems and creating momentum. Why? Because they understood duplication. That if you are good and you duplicate good and you create a system around it, then multiple goods happen eventually. And that's how we get ourselves out of the situation that we're in. So you just have to learn to do it within 30 days, right? If you buy a toothpick for a certain amount and and then you sell it for double the amount that you got it for, you've doubled your money. Right? Or if you sell 2 of those toothpicks, you've now doubled your money because you had to pay for the toothpick. But now you sold the toothpick for twice the amount or 3 times the amount. Now you have money, plus you have another toothpick, right? And so as a result, you can now expand, right? So that's the simplicity of business, is you just doubling every 30 days. And if you double every 30 days, bro, you become massively wealthy. You understand that, like, growing by 1% every single day leads to $1 trillion within 7 years and 7 months? But let's just recognize that. You can do the equation yourself. Just find out with ChatGPT. You can find out and play with those numbers, because it's amazing what happens when you start personally growing and moving towards your destination. So I'm really excited for you.